Okay, we're recording.
Okay, all right. Okay, call the special meeting of the Landmark Commission to order. Can we have a roll call, please? Go ahead.
Alan Griffiths,
Here?
Kima Yondell. Here. Elliot Dyer,
Here.
Mike Meisner,
Here.
Louis Schultz, Ryan Whaley.
Here. Okay, we have our minutes from September 20th. Are there any questions, comments on the minutes? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Okay, we have one item to discuss today, and hand it over to Alec. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we are going to discuss 410 West Jefferson Street, and that is for a digital sign. This location is on the National Register of Historic Places. There's little documented history on the structure, and partially to blame is the SHPO's website still down. It's been down for the last 3 months. That is the main source of our information. There are some archives that we have access to, but the bulk of what we can find is on this SHPO's website, so we don't have access to it. But for what I could find, the structure was built in 1909 and has been a school since it was built. So this is for a digital sign. This is going to be to replace the existing message board, which is on the left side of your screen, with an LED message board. This is going to be at the northern exterior of the building. Submitted materials state the new digital sign will be the same area as the existing sign message board, which is 36 inches by 48 inches of, and it's going to be LED. Staff has determined the proposed sign is appropriate to the structure in this location based on the following analysis. The sign will only be on from dawn to dusk. That will adjust based on the seasons. The sign's border has an existing architecture that complements the architecture of this building. The shape is appropriate. The illumination and brightness can be adjusted even after the sign is created and produced. Planning Commission and staff did confirm that at the Planning Commission meeting of 9/27 of 2023. The brightness can be adjusted at any time, and also that there's an auto dim feature on the sign that will adjust to the sunlight of that day. So overall, staff supports the project and recommends granting the certificate of appropriateness based on the following conditions. That's that all applicable permits are obtained through the Building Department, Engineering Department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any construction. Second is that white backgrounds on all graphics are prohibited. The projected images contain simple graphics and messages, and that to avoid fluorescent colors in any of the projected images. Thank you.
Okay. I see we have Ryan Brady from Brady Signs. Would you like to come and just give us a rundown on what the sign is and the installation, if you don't mind? I think at the podium, yep.
I'll sign in quickly. Do I need to state my name?
Yes.
Okay. Ryan Brady, Brady Signs, 1721 Hancock Street. So yeah, Alec did a pretty good job of kind of breaking down the project, but at its core, what we're doing here is we're basically replacing kind of that old school static reader board with a digital sign. The school has just got tired of going out and putting those nice changeable letters in. It's a nice break during the summer, not as nice in the winter. And so they've made some other improvements around this entrance too in terms of lighting. And so this is just kind of a broader plan for the school to try to continue to kind of upgrade the appearance out front there as well. Outside of that, obviously the school has a lot of stuff going on, a lot of events that they're just trying to call attention to for people that are either driving there on Jefferson or pedestrian traffic too. So I know they're very excited to kind of upgrade this and kind of show to the public that they're making continuous investments into the property, into the school system.
From my perspective, can you just talk a little bit about the sign technology in terms of the ability to dim it, program it, transition times, those kinds of things?
Yeah, so all of those items that you just alluded to, Alan, are all basically adjustable through the software that operates the unit. So, I know brightness is obviously a big concern when it comes to digital versus kind of your old school static technology. So the first thing, as Alec alluded to, there's an auto dimming feature on the sign. So the sign is smart enough to know its coordinates where it's at in the world, basically. So it'll know when the sun sets, when the sun rises. So let's say at noon on a sunny day, it'll be at peak brightness, so it's visible. Now, that same day at 10 o'clock at nighttime, if you're still operating the unit that late, it would know that it's 10 o'clock, it's dark, it may be at 3% of its brightness at that point. So those are factory settings, basically. You're using technology within the software to know that. Now, if someone from this group, or let's say somebody else from the public, drove past it and they said it's still too bright, we can then manually override that using a software override to bring that brightness down further if we felt that was a step that was warranted. So in terms of brightness, there's a couple ways we can attack that. The other part, in terms of controlling the content of the sign, again, it's the conditions that are attached we can share with the school so they understand that too. In terms of hold times, again, that's something that's very easily controlled within the software as well. You can do anything from a tenth of a second to 20 minutes to an hour. So when you're creating the content, all that stuff is editable, basically. So I know, ODOT standard for big digital billboards is 8 seconds is a minimum hold time they allow. Now, different cities have different thoughts and stuff like that. Like Huron's 30 seconds, Perkins is 6 seconds. Just, it varies. So, but we tell our clients, when you're using digital technology, the content's important. Don't try to put too much on there, and don't try to change that content too fast, because then it makes it basically illegible.
Any other questions? Thank you. Anybody? Okay, I just have two comments, I guess, and thanks, Ryan. I don't think we have any other questions for you at this point. I have two comments in that this commission, certainly while I've been on it, as far as I know, historically, has approved two of these signs, one at Grace Episcopal Church and one at Zion Lutheran Church. Is that correct, Alec? Are there any others?
Yeah, that's what I recall as well.
Okay. So just from a personal perspective, I think the experience of the two signs we've approved is very different. The Grace Episcopal one is not overly bright. It certainly, I don't know what their transition times are, but they seem to have the same thing up fairly regularly for a long period of time. The one at Zion Lutheran is very bright and seems to change 5 times in the time it takes me to drive from where I can see it in Columbus Ave to when I get from it. I have a strong preference for the former and a strong lack of preference, whatever that word is, for the latter. So this is probably not something to be addressed right now, but I do think as we're looking at our guidelines, looking at some more guidance around content on these signs might be something we want to add to our current project in terms of transition times, in terms of types of graphics, and the overall brightness of the sign in terms of how it's seen from certainly distance anyway. Any other comments on that?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the Planning Commission did review this, and they did approve this on the 9/27 meeting. Part of the condition was that it can't exceed a minimum of 10 seconds between images. Just to touch on your comment that you prefer, the longer of the two signs that you mentioned as examples. So the 10-second is the minimum that they can have an image on that screen before it
Per
changes.
Planning Commission?
Per the Planning Commission, yep.
I would assume there's nothing that precludes us, and this might be a question for Sarah, but nothing that would preclude us in the context of a historical building from adding a longer transition time if we decided to in our guidelines.
Yes, so I'm not familiar exactly. Have we ever imposed timelines? Has this body ever imposed
It hasn't come
timelines?
up yet. This
Okay.
is really the first time it's come up.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll probably want to talk internally to make sure that we're consistent going forward
Yeah.
on that, one way or the other. But I'll write that down and
Okay.
I'll coordinate with you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Can I have a motion on this particular application, please?
Motion is approved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Quinn, can you call the roll, please?
Ryan Whaley,
Yes.
Mike Meisner,
Yes.
Elliot Dyer,
Yes.
Kima Yondell,
Yes.
Alan Griffiths.
Yes.
I assume that's based on staff's recommendations for the
That is
commission.
based on staff's recommendations. Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other business or not?
No, but just a gentle reminder for the boards and commissions cruise, which is October 26th. So if you haven't signed up, please do so. I believe that's
A
through
guest
Quinn.
a guest is welcome, and if you have any problems with the link, you can email me your guest name, and I can sign you up and RSVP for you.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody coming again.